Hello one and all, this is Hybridsteel. Thank you very much for joining me in this video. Today we're going to be taking a look at Biker Garage Mechanic Simulator. Now if you're familiar with Car Mechanic Simulator, this is literally the biker version. Now, without further ado, let's get it on, shall we? Become a motorcycle mechanic. Buy used motorcycles, repair and sell them with a profit. You will work with at least 10 types of motorbikes, develop a workshop and gain more and more customers, show your bikes online and sell more. Lots of parts to use, the ability to test on a track, and auction houses are in this game as well. Now, all the footage you're going to be seeing is basically from early parts of the game. Basically everything that you're going to be seeing is before level 10. The reason why is because it's pretty much the same sort of thing as Car Mechanic Simulator, just with the difference is you're working on motorbikes. Now the levels of motorbikes you're looking at are anywhere between choppers to sports bikes, and as the game developers, Bearded Brothers, will be sort of like chucking out more and more bikes and DLC as the game goes on. This game is one of those, like, it's just started, ideal to get into if you really wanted something different. The controls are very much similar to CMS, where you're literally taking parts apart, putting them on, you make sure you're repairing them properly, and basically making sure the whole welfare of the bike is in tune. The best part about this is that if you've ever played CMS, or if you've played any version of Car Mechanic Simulator, you'll literally know the controls for this game. Some of them are a little bit different though. I mean, if you want to go into certain options, you have to right click, then you go into assemble, disassemble, service or diagnose. And all these tools are open to you right at the beginning of the game. There is a list of a couple of things that aren't open to you, such as the auction house, different parts of the garage, a little bit more of the advanced stuff as you go up through the levels. When you get to level 10, that's when the first load unlocks. When you get to level 20, that's the next load unlocks. And I think the last lot is level 35, which is very, very similar to the CMS layout. That when you go up levels, you're rewarded with certain things. Level 10 unlocks a different section of the garage, and it lets you do more advanced stuff like draining brakes, pulling out the fluids and all the other stuff that you really have to do. A couple of things they've done differently than CMS has done is actually you could start messing with actual hoses and actual parts on the bike that we couldn't do with Car Mechanic Simulator, such as cables that go to batteries, hoses that go to the brakes, filling up reservoirs within the different parts of the actual sort of like bike itself. Instead of just going glug glug glug, there's the oil, it's all good. With this, you have to make sure that the oil levels are specifically correct in each area, especially the same with tyre pressure as well. That's something that we've never seen before, and that's something that's different in this game. It takes this game a little bit more seriously, turning it into an actual simulator, but still having the fundamentals of actually being a game at the same time, that you're actually not going to get too bored. The couple of downsides I would basically say is that the controls are a little bit ropey to start with, that you have to basically get used to them. I actually found that it's sort of like inverted controls. I'm not sure if there's a way of changing that, but I think there is. Basically, when you use WASD keyboard, as I like to call it, when you go up, it sort of spins the camera down. When you push down, it spins the camera up. These are things you have to get used to. If you want to get around the bike quickly, just right click on a part and it will jump you to that part of the bike. Now when it comes to taking apart the actual bike itself, when you go into the parts menu, which is in the shop, you actually get to choose the type of bike it is. Instead of just sitting there going, right, I need to type in this and this, you'll actually be pulling up the specific parts for the specific bikes, which basically takes away all that funny guesswork we had to do in CMS. Makes it a little bit more streamlined as well. You don't have to faff around as much, which is actually, in fairness, more up my street. Instead of having to type out all these strange things trying to figure out which bit I need, I'm actually sitting here going, right, I can look at this and this. The diagnosis tool in this is actually quite simple as well. When you go into the options and you've got the three options on the right hand side, which would appear, it would appear over on that side of the screen as you're looking at it. I'll show this up, and basically you're looking at turning the lights on to test all the lights and they're working. You can test the engine straight away to see if it's actually working, and then the other thing, which looks like a little postcard, is actually the diagnosis of the whole bike, so that you'll know if the levels are off, if you know the tyre pressure off, you'll know if any parts of the engine are actually broken, and if you know the actual sort of like body parts for the bike as well that do need to be replaced. This takes out a lot of the guesswork that we used to do in CMS. Obviously with CMS it was mainly working on the rust factor. If it was a rusty part, then you know how bad it was, you'd replace it. Now as you can see on here, this is the actual sort of like the open section of where you would diagnose your bike. So all these bits here and here, this is your engine layout. This is the bike layout, and the one on the other side is all the levels of like liquids and air pressures that you're going to be dealing with. So it takes out a lot of the guesswork. Now, what happens though is if it's got a question mark on it, obviously you're going to have to find that part, and then you're going to have to take it off and see if it's any good. I mean, if it is good, don't worry about it, it's all right. The one thing I did notice though is that when you took off a part, occasionally you'd be like, well, it's 100%. What? And then there would be like something else just snuck behind it that'd be taking things out. That's not too bad. And I've got to be honest, the streamlining of this game has actually made it a bit more easier and a lot more happier to play instead of getting frustrated over what this, that and the other. The only downsides that, I mean, a lot of people who play these simulation style games with like Car Mechanic Simulator, and other simulation style games, is that when it comes down to the actual specifics of toolboxing. Now, people do get a bit miffy. Oh, it can't be a true simulator because I haven't lost my 10mm spanner. In fairness, no, they have a 10mm spanner in it, and that's something that, you know, lots of people have asked for, which is why in my summer car they gave you an entire toolbox and just say have at it. It basically gives you a bit more of a game than a simulator, and this is the differences between real life and an actual game. You're looking more at an actual simulation game than you are at simulation life. Yes, it doesn't give specifics on what spanner to use, but you still have to take it all apart. It still uses the same system as CMS. Take the part off. Can you repair it? Yes. Cool. I'll repair it, put it back on the bike. All good. If not, can I buy it brand new? Yes, you can. And adding the hoses and everything else is just extra bits that we have to buy. That's not too shabby. Now, later on, as you go through this game, you can actually get to a point where you can build your own bikes. Now, this is shown in the demos that they've given out on Steam, and you can check these out for yourself. And I mean, at the end of the day, the game itself is pretty solid. Graphics-wise, they've worked really hard on it. They had to move the release date back a little bit on this because they had trouble with their translator within the game. So we've been waiting an extra like week and a half, 2 weeks for this game, which hasn't been too bad. At least we had like actual words from the developers on their Discord instead of just being left in the dark. Other things I would take from this game, genuinely, it's an easy laid out game. Pretty simple to pick up and play, but it does take a little bit of learning because obviously it's new control systems to some people who have never played this style of game before. Even if you're a veteran CMS player, some of the controls are a little bit reversed into what we're normally used to, so be prepared for a little bit of a learning curve, but nothing too major. Shortcuts on the keyboard are pretty much the same, so T is your tablet, you know, and then parts is everything else. If you want to right click on parts on the bike, you can take that, you can add that to your parts list and then go into your shop and then so on. But I'll follow all those up with other videos. In all, I'm going to put my verdict down on this game. I bloody love it. And the reason why I love it is because it's exactly the same as CMS, just using on motorbike. For somebody who doesn't ride a bike, and for somebody who actually has, like, I like bikes, but I've never ridden one, it doesn't really appeal to me. But doing this sort of thing actually makes me respect them a little bit more, because I'm able to see all the parts that put them all together. And that's sort of where I'm going with this. Am I enjoying this game? Yes. Do I love the look of it? Yes. Can I wait until more stuff comes out of this game? Absolutely not. Bringing it out right now would be much happier. So I want to say thank you very much to the Bearded Brothers for actually bringing this game out, because it brings a whole new life to like the whole mechanic simulator world. So thank you very much, guys. This has been Hybridsteel. If you have liked this video, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe and notification button below for all other updates, and I'll be back here with another video, live stream, or whatever else I do on this channel. Until then, peace out, have fun, and enjoy everything you guys do. Bye bye.